Hello and welcome back to my channel. This sounds so weird saying this. Yeah, I've been away for quite some time, a couple of months, with good reason. Yes, I'm pregnant. I'm with child. Praise the Lord. We did go through a loss. It's been 7 months since we have experienced that. And yeah, I made a few notes actually so that I don't speak out of turn or just forget a few things, like important things that I wanted to mention. So, in November of 2025, last year, we found out that we were expecting. It is honestly so unexpected. I think I will probably insert the clip. Um, yeah, we actually found out. We took the pregnancy test. Well, I took the pregnancy test, and then yeah, we found out together. And for one, I was shocked. I was more like, oh gosh, the timing, stressing. But deep down in my heart, I was also very excited and looking forward to this next journey. My husband, on the other hand, he was just full force, super excited, didn't think about like the uncertainty or like the stress part of it or anything like that. He was just super, super excited. In that same breath, about, I guess, a week later, if I'm not mistaken, then we shared with our close family and friends, and everyone was just so excited. We shared it in a video call, and yeah, it was just the best time of our lives, honestly. Like, it was summer season, and I just feel like we were in a good space mentally, physically. Everyone is feeling festive, and it's around the holiday time, and we're just so excited. And it felt also really good for me to not like keep it to myself. Um, yeah, so that is just really beautiful. And then fast forward to December. Gosh, this it felt like everything just came crashing down. In December, of course, that's when I had the miscarriage. I remember vividly it was on the 2nd of December. The 2nd of December, and yeah, I remember we came back from church. It was a creative team volunteer end of year event, and then we just came home, and I started getting intense cramps in my, I would say, my left lower side of my stomach, and it just became so intense. Like, I don't usually get period pains, but this just felt like times 10. And then, of course, the blood started coming, and sorry, TMI, but yeah, usually miscarriages happen where it's pain, intense pain, and yeah, it proceeds with the blood loss, like intense blood loss, like clots and all those things. Um, yeah, that was obviously a very like emotional and heartbreaking time for me and my husband, and it took us a very, very long time to like actually share it with our family and friends again, because obviously now you have to let people know, oh my gosh, we lost the baby. And yeah, I didn't mention that we lost the baby at 8 weeks. At 8 weeks, that's when we lost the baby. That's in the first trimester. um if it's one thing I can take away from that experience, it's that, like, I still felt God's peace. I know it probably sounds like in that moment you you are so full of rage, but also your heart is breaking. But at the same time, I felt at peace. I feel like I still continued, like, going on with my life and just trying to enjoy that season because Christmas was coming up. I just wanted to maintain that joy and happiness, not realizing that soon that would all come crashing down, which it did a few months later. I wanted to, like, just not ignore it, but I knew that the minute if I like share it immediately, the after effects, and like I just feel like my life would just come at a standstill, which I feel like it did eventually once I shared it, which was like about 2 months later. So like in February 2026, that's when I shared it. And yeah, I think I also do have a video because my brother and his family, they stay abroad. So we just made a video because I knew if it was a video call, it would have been chaotic. And of course, I couldn't deliver the news. My husband, he was still strong enough to do so. I was still like in a very emotional state because I remember that morning I took a pregnancy test, convincing myself, no, this can't be true. Like, I believe that this baby is still alive. um, yeah, I just believe that the baby is still alive, and yeah, that's when the negative pregnancy test just showed up, and of course I was devastated. I didn't go immediately to the gynae or like go to the emergency unit or care. I waited. So I remember that was on a Tuesday, and then the Friday, that's when I went because I just felt like I know I'm actively miscarrying, and I'm going to let this happen naturally. And then soon after that, the Friday, that's when we went to the gynae, and he did the ultrasound. I explained this is what happened, and he was taking notes and all this stuff. He did the transvaginal scan, and I was still kind of bleeding still a bit. Yeah, and there was nothing in my womb. Like, he was trying to find, and I remember he still said, so where's the baby? I promise you, a pin could drop, and the silence, it was so surreal. And yeah, and I was just like, okay, it's real now. And then I don't think he was trying to explain, like, I think he was also like trying to figure out the situation because I guess I came like a few days later and not immediately. Um, but it was also like in his notes, potential ectopic, but then he mentioned it was a blighted ovum. Yeah, because I remember my hormones was still producing, but then soon after that when he took the HCG, like the blood test to test my HCG levels, it continued to drop. So that was like a sign that okay, that I definitely did miscarry. But then also he mentioned about ectopic pregnancy because he couldn't see like some part of my fallopian tube, and that's usually what happens when you have an ectopic pregnancy, when the embryo develops in the fallopian tube, which is very life threatening, and that baby won't be viable. It was just a very rough time. But 7 months later, I just feel incredibly thankful that I'm still alive, and I can sit here today as a living testimony that God saw me and my husband through this season. Of course, I still do feel sad, and that loss, I don't think it ever leaves you. And I'm glad that we did celebrate it, even though how short that period was, because I know most people, they keep it a secret until 3 months, around 12 weeks. Um, but I'm glad I did celebrate, because I think if I did keep it a secret and I did miscarry, I don't know if I would have shared it with anyone. But I do feel that with sharing, it does make you feel less alone. I'm glad that I can share it with somebody who is watching this video that who is currently going through infertility, that you are not alone. I know I watch countless YouTube videos of like people who miscarried and then they had a successful pregnancy afterwards, and that honestly, it brought me so much hope. Like, of course you can share it with like friends or family, but some may not have gone through it and they won't necessarily understand. So it definitely brought like lots of hope. Um, Seeing people like actively share it and not having that shame or stigma attached to it, as I know it is like a very personal thing to share. But I do feel that with sharing, it definitely made the load lighter, and the fact that I didn't have to keep or bottle everything inside of me um, definitely helped me to get through the days. But yeah, that is my miscarriage story. About 3 months later, we find out that we are expecting again. And I actually wrote down like the timestamps, the date stamps here, sorry, and like how much weeks and days I was. Because I just feel like having this journal like just makes it easy for me to track, and I'm glad I did actually track it. So on the 19th of April 2026, that's when I took the pregnancy test, and by then I was about 5 weeks, 5 days. I waited a bit. So obviously you wait until you miss your period to know if you are pregnant or not. And I waited about a week and a half or so. You are expecting again. And I think this time around it was like a quiet joy. I don't know how to explain this. It was like a quiet joy and gratitude, because we are just grateful that God allowed it to happen like so soon after that. And yeah, I remember I just took it and then I brought the test and showed my husband. He was on the couch and we were just like hugging and just like grateful, like just that quiet joy. um yeah, and then on the 30th of April, that was when we went for my first GP appointment. So that's like a pregnancy confirmation. That's when we did the blood test. By then I was 7 weeks, 2 days. And yeah, so I'm so surprised that by this GP that I got my blood test immediately, like within 3 hours. So I was grateful because I also did mention of my previous miscarriage, and yeah, I'm glad that she like just gave me that reassurance and stuff. Yeah, then my HCG levels came back at like 139,525, which was extremely high and well in par with the amount of weeks and how far along I was. So that also gave me like so much like reassurance, but also at the same time I was like holding my breath. I'm like, how is this real? Like, and also like it's nearing the 8 week mark, so it's like I have to just pass this week and then I'll be like, for sure I'll be safe. So it was just a lot of holding my breath, trying to get through week after week, just trying to be sane and keep my peace. Yeah, then fast forward about two weeks later, and that was on the 18th of May. That's when I went for my first gynae appointment, and that included the scan. At this scan, also did the transvaginal scan, and here I was measuring 9 weeks, 6 days. But based on my last menstrual period, there is I had my last period on the 7th of March, and I ovulated within that same month. So I know exactly when I conceived. So I think I was actually 10 weeks and 2 3 days. I have to double check. But yeah, that was obviously confirmed when I went for my 12-week NT scan. This scan, like knowing that we previously miscarried, like we saw absolutely nothing. And then on the scan, we actually saw the little gummy bee. Oh, it is the best feeling ever. Oh my gosh. I remember I actually cried and looked at my husband and was like, there's a baby. And the gynae like actually allowed us to hear the heartbeat, and we heard it was so strong and pounding, and it just let me saw the little hands moving and the body, but it looked so cute and tiny. It's a little gummy bear. But yeah, that is like the most amazing experience. Yeah, that was just amazing. And then yeah, so then the 5th of June, that's when we went for the NT scan. We just did it at a sonographer, and that's when we actually found out I was actually measuring 12 weeks, 6 days. So almost 13 weeks. And there we actually saw the baby, the legs, and the fully formed head. Well, not fully formed, but like you can see the actual body. It looks like an actual baby this time and not a gummy bear. Um, yeah, then she did the NT scan, and everything just went well. Heard the heartbeat again, and remember the sonographer was like, "Do I want to know the gender?" And I was just like, "Yes." But then she stopped me. She's like, "Once you know, you know." And then my husband was like, "No, I should wait." And then I was like, "Okay." Afterward, I was just so like excited, and I just wanted the reassurance and the confirmation. I didn't want to be like, I didn't want any question marks to be like a thing for me this time around. I need to hydrate. My throat can get quite dry. Yeah, then remember we actually got the little scan photo that you put on your fridge and stuff. Yeah, and we got that, and that was actually when we did like share the news with the family, the close fams, and yeah, of course, again, it's like a quiet excitement. Of course, it does not compare to the first, because of course, like if you experience loss and you've been through loss, like when you experience again another pregnancy, like I don't know if the experience will be the same. But that I'm just speaking for myself. But yeah, I guess there was joy and excitement and everything, but like it doesn't compare to the first pregnancy. But yet again, still grateful, still hopeful, and trusting that God is still continuing to let this baby in my womb. 4 to 6 weeks. I wrote here that there's a lot of breast heaviness. So of course, oh gosh, I know the first pregnancy that I like one day I just woke up and it felt like a brick. It felt like two bricks, as that's how heavy like my boobs felt or my breast. And of course, they like hurt. They're very tender and delicate. So breast heaviness was definitely something. And then I had about 1 to 2 days of spotting, and then a small patch of red. You know, when I saw the red, I was like, Lord, I can't go through this again. Like, I think this time will actually break me. Um, but again, at the same time, I was also like, don't stress, be hopeful, um, and you don't know the full outcome yet. So, yeah, once I saw that, and then fortunately that stopped. It was just a small patch of red, and that's when I later learned by the GP that confirmed, oh no, that was implantation bleeding. So I was like, okay, gosh. And then 7 to 10 weeks, my symptoms they slightly increased a bit, but not too bad. So I definitely experienced like lower back pain, breast heaviness as well, food aversions. Like I couldn't eat the same thing over and over. Um, yeah, like I remember I was just like having oats in the morning, and I was like, no, I want cereal. And I read and I actually saw like online people like sharing TikToks and Instagram like cereal during pregnancy. That's like a real thing. Like that's the thing that you have. And I had nausea, but no like vomiting. There was a lot of gagging, I would say. Like if I open the fridge, if the dishwasher is dirty and I open it, ooh, the gagging, it comes, eh? And definitely I having to eat 2 to 3 hours. If not, then I would gag. But also again, I would have a loss of appetite. So it is very difficult for me to like kind of eat in the first trimester because my taste buds, it was just metallic. It was just wasn't very nice, so I couldn't enjoy like food or anything. Acne around my jawline, still to this day actually. And then 11 to 13 weeks, I had a loss of appetite, insomnia, nausea, and acne. You know, the insomnia, like not being able to sleep at night and just tossing and turning all the time, like that. Like during the day, but it's so weird because like you want to sleep during the day, but like you can't. And the same at night. Like I thought during this pregnancy I could sleep and just rest as much as I can, but it's not happening. um hopefully, if people always say that in the second trimester it is your honeymoon phase, which I'm currently in. In a way, I do feel it is because I do have my energy back, and but it's still the insomnia that I'm kind of still struggling with. Like appetite, I can eat now, and yeah, everything else is fine. But yeah, that is basically a wrap of my first trimester. The gender reveal is coming up soon, and we don't know yet. Only one person knows, my sister-in-law. So she's of course planning it and stuff. So that's when we're gonna find out the gender. My prediction, I already know. Well, my intuition just knows what the gender is, and Dad's intuition knows what his version of the gender is. But yeah, I'm excited and looking forward to that. Hopefully, I will probably vlog that, like maybe trying to get my outfit and like the morning of leading up to. I'll see how I can work that in. But yeah, that is basically a wrap of this video. Yeah, I'm literally like reading this. The Lord's mercies are new every morning. Lamentations 3 verse 22 to 23. So I think I want to leave an end on that note, that the Lord's mercies are new every morning. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Love to create like a community of moms. I guess new moms, experienced moms, because I know I will be watching lots of YouTube videos, like especially during my pregnancy, leading up to newborn phase. I know I binge watch so many of those because I feel like it definitely helps and it does make you feel less alone. But yeah, that is a wrap from me, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.